Online game, I possess a monster merging simulator. Chapter 211, Crazy Production. Ding! Congratulations on obtaining points plus 392. Ding! Congratulations! Ding! Ding! In a large valley, Lorne dealt damage to the stone beetles. The stone beetles were not demonized monsters and would not generate points, so no one was willing to come to this area. This suited Lorne's needs. He used the monster merging simulator to sweep through the area. After synthesizing the level 35 ordinary monster, it gave him 392 points. If other players were to be stuck like this, they would probably be so angry that they would curse non-stop. After farming monsters for the entire day, Lorne's points had already exceeded 3 million points. This efficiency was slightly slower than yesterday. After all, it had taken longer. Exchange for 3 guild establishment tokens. As he was about to go offline to rest, Lorne used all his points. 3 million points could be exchanged for 3 guild establishment tokens. Then, he placed them all in the shop for auction. The next second, shouts sounded throughout Iron Skull City. Ding! Handsome gentlemen, beautiful ladies, I am Tyrant. I have a guild establishment token in my hand. Players who need it can go to the Dragon 1 shop in Iron Skull City to auction in half an hour. All participants must pay 1,000 gold coins as a deposit. Friends who have interest, please pay attention to the time when the auction begins. Handsome gentlemen, beautiful ladies. Handsome gentlemen, beautiful ladies. Hearing these shouts, the players widened their eyes. Damn, is Boss Tyrant starting a wholesale business? We can't understand the world of a god-tier player. Another guild establishment token. Tyrant will earn tens of millions again. The game is so profitable, why would anyone start a company in real life? I agree. While most of the players were still discussing, the representatives of the large guilds gathered again. They wanted to set up a guild too much. To large guilds, setting up a guild as soon as possible could raise their guild level as soon as possible. Only when the guild level was high enough could enough players join the guild and form a powerful force. When the auction began, these people had bitter looks on their faces. Damn, the initial bid is still 10,000 gold coins. Tyrant is too much. Such a black-hearted merchant. This guy has never been kind-hearted. He's simply evil. A group of guild representatives complained. However, Lorne could not be bothered with them. Those guilds that were willing to spend thousands of gold coins to buy the guild establishment token did not care about spending gold coins, not to mention that these people were not ordinary rich folks. Indeed, this group of players was extremely angry, but they still obediently stated their bids. After dozens of increases, the final price stopped at 31,000 gold coins. Guild leader, I think we came to this map with Tyrant at the same time. Why is it that his points seem to be growing endlessly? He already bought the second guild establishment token, but we haven't even unlocked the points shop. In the Silver Snow Guild, a beautiful priest player looked enviously at the information regarding the auction house. We are fairies. He's a big pervert. Of course, it's not the same. Twinkle Rose clenched her fists and gritted her teeth. This was the difference between them. The strength of that freakish little brother was enough to crush all the ladies in her guild. The two of them had clearly entered the event map at the same time, but in the end, that guy had already bought the second guild establishment token, and their points had only just exceeded 300,000. Last night, this guy had sold the token for 70,000 gold coins. Today, he sold another one for 30,000 gold coins. All in all, it was a total of 100,000 gold coins, equivalent to 300 million alliance dollars. Boo-hoo, this game was so unfair. In another forest. When he saw that the third guild establishment token had been sold, Lorne immediately added another one. In view of the price that had exceeded 30,000 gold coins, the bottom price was still set at 10,000 gold coins. Those guilds would definitely not let it go. At the Dragon 1 shop, everyone who had just walked down the second floor was stopped by the shop manager, Rona, again. She informed them that the next guild establishment token auction was about to begin in their shop, so she asked them to stay. Hearing this, everyone was stunned. They even suspected that they were hallucinating. After all, this was the guild establishment token, not some random cabbage. How could so many appear at once? Everyone was confused, but they still returned to the auction house. Immediately after, a new guild establishment token appeared, and the initial bid was 10,000 gold coins. Seeing this scene, cursing immediately sounded at the scene. Of course, although they cursed, their bodies were still very honest. All of them crazily stated their prices, wanting to take this guild establishment token for themselves. In the end, the price of this guild establishment token was fixed at 33,000 gold coins, which was even higher than the previous one. This was all because of the competition between the guilds. When an enemy guild obtained some advantages, in order to keep up with the other party, one would definitely require more effort and money to make up for the difference. Therefore, this time, Lorne made a killing. Guild leader, are we still not going to make a move? The price of the guild establishment token is still rising. The beautiful priest player could not take it anymore. The more guilds registered, the greater the disadvantage of the Silver Snow Guild. As ambitious beautiful ladies, they naturally did not want this to happen. Wait a while longer. Twinkle Rose was not in a hurry. She thought of Tyrant's reminder. That guy had told her not to compete for the first guild establishment token, which meant that a new one would appear in the future. According to the current situation, Tyrant would still sell the guild establishment token in the next few days. In order to save money to buy branded bags, it was best to wait. Just as she was thinking this, Lorne put up a new guild establishment token for 10,000 gold coins. This time, the players in the entire world went crazy. Gosh! What's going on? When I was drinking water, Tyrant took out another guild establishment token. This is too much. I secretly suspect that this person is creating guild establishment tokens through NPCs. Tyrant is too ridiculous. Damn, even if he's selling drugs, he can't earn so much. Chapter 212, Encountering a Silver Boss. 35,000 gold coins. The third guild establishment token of the day was quickly sold. The final price was 35,000 gold coins, higher than the first two. However, no one knew that this was actually Lorne's own bid. There were two reasons for this. First, it was to create a facade that the value of the guild establishment token would gradually increase. Secondly, it was because he had promised Super Rich to give him a guild establishment token. That rich and willful uncle directly used 100,000 gold coins to reserve this guild establishment token, so naturally, it had to be prioritized. After trading the guild establishment token to Super Rich, Lorne went offline to rest. At 6 p.m., Lorne went online again. The event was ongoing now. He had to farm monsters as soon as possible. After adjusting his state, Lorne immediately summoned his pets and led them deeper into the forest. Although the monsters here were very high level, under Aisha's sharp blades, they were all killed one by one. There was no difficulty at all. Just like that, Lorne's points kept rising. With his killing speed, he could kill 5 to 10 monsters in about a minute. Coupled with the effect of doubling the points, his accumulation speed had always been very efficient. When he crossed the forest and arrived at a plain, suddenly, his treasure-seeking skill was triggered. Ding! Congratulations on discovering an ordinary mine. The coordinates have been automatically recorded. Although it was an ordinary mine, if he could effectively mine the resources, he would still receive a generous reward. Feeling that there should still be ore veins in this area, Lorne began to sweep through the monsters on the plains. The monsters here were a group of wild bulls. They were level 29 and could merge into silver-grade demonized monsters and drop 232 points. Compared to the previous monsters, the benefits of such a monster were relatively small. Fortunately, there were enough of them. The wild bulls liked to move in groups, which saved Lorne a lot of trouble. While hunting, Lorne's other hidden income was also very good. Ding! Congratulations on discovering an ordinary gem mine. The coordinates have been automatically recorded. Congratulations on discovering an ordinary steel mine. The coordinates have been automatically recorded. Ding! Ding! As expected, there were indeed many small mineral veins here. They were scattered everywhere underground. If not for his treasure-seeking skill, he would not have been able to discover their existence accurately. Lorne checked the quality of the mineral veins and found that most were ordinary and had limited reserves. The value of such a mine was not high. After all, mining required manpower. Fortunately, this place was relatively close to the Gnome Mineral Company. He could consider cooperating with them and obtain a net profit. There's already 235,000 gold coins now. After 2 days of selling the guild establishment tokens, Lorne had accumulated 235,000 gold coins, but he did not sell them. He planned to use this money to repair the cold, desolate Dragon City. According to his calculations in the gnome shop, the funds were not enough. Gold coins were expensive among the players because the drop rate of gold coins was not high now. However, in the world of NPCs, gold coins were relatively cheap and were the lowest level currency. Therefore, these 230,000 gold coins could not solve all the problems. Lorne knew that he had to accumulate more gold coins to prepare for the restoration of the cold, desolate Dragon City. Speaking of this, he could not help but think of the situation in the ruins of the war. He wondered how Manager Tully's project was progressing. Lorne opened the forum to check on the situation. Many players had seen the gnome airship arrive at the ruins of the war. They would definitely go and check on the situation and reveal the information on the forum. Lorne opened the search window and entered the key phrase gnome airship. The next moment, a pile of information appeared. Lorne looked at it briefly, then smiled. From the information on the forum, the gnomes project was progressing very smoothly. Because the gnomes had hired players to help transport the ores, and they had a large number of people, it was obvious that the gnomes project was in full swing. This was good news. After all, half of every ore belonged to him. While Lorne was rejoicing, suddenly, a ball of burning black flames appeared in the forest ahead. Lorne looked closely and saw a huge humanoid creature in the flames. Is it a boss? Lorne's eyes were abnormally bright. To ordinary players, discovering boss-level monsters meant that they could obtain more points. To Lorne, discovering a boss-level monster meant that he could obtain higher-level materials. If it was a material that could allow wild beasts to evolve into bosses, he would make a killing. With that in mind, Lorne quickly walked over. When he was close enough, he finally saw the other party's true identity. It was an extremely powerful demonized werewolf. Werewolves were one of the beastmen who could generate points. Moreover, this was a powerful boss-level monster. Demonized werewolf leader. Grade, Silver Boss. Level, 35. HP, 300,000/300,000. Physical attack, 2100 to 3000. Physical defense, 1150. Magic defense, 780. Skills, Bloodthirsty Fangs, Frenzied Claw, Wild Wolf Assault, Blood Shadow Greedy Wolf, Demonized Body. Introduction: a werewolf leader who has been completely corroded by the power of darkness. It has become even more savage after being demonized. It is the nightmare of all adventurers. It was a silver boss. Lorne was more interested because this was the first silver boss he had encountered. As for Walter, who he had encountered previously, and the other dragons, although they all had powerful attributes, they were not silver bosses but special bosses in the event. Because of this, Lorne had finally encountered the first silver boss in his life. As for its attributes, it could not be said that it was not powerful. If ordinary players were here, it was hard to say if they could win. After all, the upper limit of this monster's attack had reached an astonishing 3,000 points, and it was also a level 35 boss monster. If they really fought, it would probably take at least 100-man team of top players to have a chance. Master, Aisha wants to kill it alone. At this moment, Aisha stood up with a dagger in her hand. From the moment she became Lorne's pet, this little girl had been very harsh on herself, because in her mind, she was determined to protect her master from any harm. Such a battle was the best opponent for her to sharpen her skills. Go ahead. Lorne let the other pets disperse. This boss did not require everyone to fight together. With Aisha's current strength, she could completely suppress her opponent. Her interface attack had already exceeded 10,000 points. Not to mention a silver boss, even a gold boss could not withstand such a terrifying damage output. Chapter 213, 100% block. Bam! After obtaining permission, Aisha immediately rushed towards her opponent. Silver energy circulated on her exquisite combat boots. The moment she stepped out, it was as if a missile had exploded, causing cracks to appear on the ground. Aisha herself approached the other party at a speed that was difficult to catch with the naked eye. At the same time, the dagger in her hand glowed silver. The moment the hexagram shone, Aisha used the backstab skill to come behind the other party, and the cold dagger was stabbed into the back of the demonized werewolf leader. Minus 33,000, critical. A 5-digit critical damage appeared, directly reducing the boss's health by a large amount. Although Aisha was 12 levels behind the other party, she still dealt astonishing damage with her powerful attack. At this moment, the quick-witted werewolf boss quickly turned around and counterattacked. Clang! The sound of metal striking metal sounded. Aisha blocked the huge claw with the sharp blade of her left hand. Although the difference in size between the two sides was huge, in terms of strength, Aisha was far superior to the other party. Even in a head-on battle, she could directly suppress the other party. Phantom Combo Plus. Aisha did not give the other party any time to react. Almost at the same time, she seized the opportunity and directly used her combo skill. 2 daggers danced in her hands, and silver bolts appeared in the sky. Like a blooming flower or a fishing net, a terrifying light covered the sky and enveloped the werewolf boss. Minus 8,231. Minus 8,231. Minus 8,231. Minus 8,231. After 9 consecutive slashes, the boss lost nearly a quarter of its health points. Roar! The werewolf leader let out a roar in pain. Crimson light appeared on its sharp claws. It also used a skill to kill the enemy in one strike. But as it prepared to attack, Aisha vanished. She hid in the darkness. Phantom stealth gave her high movement speed and allowed her to avoid the detection of any enemy. Even a silver boss was helpless against her. Whoosh! The werewolf leader could only attack the air crazily, and scarlet energy covered the surroundings. This was a furious counterattack from the silver boss. The sharp red claws seemed to split the air. If it hit a player, they would definitely die instantly. Unfortunately, this counterattack was useless against Aisha. At this moment, she was actually standing by the other party's side, watching it attack crazily with her own eyes. However, the werewolf leader was unaware of this and continued venting crazily into the air. Soon, the boss skill duration passed. At that moment, Aisha appeared behind him. Slash! The sharp dagger slashed across the boss' neck again, tearing out a pool of black blood. Minus 34,500, critical. Minus 7,355. Aisha used the combination of skill and attack to take away 40,000 health points from the werewolf leader again. At this moment, the boss only had less than 200,000 health points left, and its health had already fallen to less than 70%. However, less than 20 seconds had passed. 20 seconds. Only 20 seconds. Aisha had actually depleted 1/3 of the health of a level 35 silver boss. If other players saw such a terrifying DPS, their eyes would probably pop out. Damn elf, you're courting death. The werewolf boss was also stunned. It did not expect its health to decrease so quickly, but there was no time to think. It quickly jumped into the distance and kept its distance from the enemy. Then, it crouched on the ground. Its shoulder blades were raised and its fur stood on end. It looked extremely hideous. The scarlet eyes were fixed on Aisha. After pausing for a few seconds, its hind legs suddenly exerted strength. The muscles in its entire body tensed up, and it instantly burst with an extremely terrifying speed. The werewolf boss was like a scarlet lightning that instantly approached Aisha. Its hideous fangs tore at her neck. This was an attack that was difficult to dodge. Even Aisha could not avoid such a swift attack. However, being unable to dodge did not mean that she could not block it. Without fear, Aisha held the two daggers in front of her. Clang! The sharp blades and fangs collided, causing countless sparks to fly. The werewolf boss knew that its strength was no match for its opponent, so it directly threw its head to the side, wanting to use the force of the impact to destroy this elf's defense. However, such an attack was blocked by Aisha with a turn of her body. Not only that, but she also took the initiative to fight the boss in close combat. From this move, it could be seen that from the beginning to the end, Aisha did not treat it as an opponent. She was willing to fight the other party in close combat only because she wanted to hone her combat skills. -8,247. -8,259. -21,580. Critical. -8,233. Aisha entangled the other party at an extremely fast speed, her sharp blades slicing crazily at its body. Such a terrifying speed made it difficult for the werewolf leader to deal an effective blow to her. Even if there was an opportunity, it would be accurately blocked by Aisha. Seeing this, Lorne felt that he had to learn from Aisha. As a player, he knew the difficulty of blocking in the game. As everyone knew, among the classes in Divine Realm, the swordsman class did not have defensive skills in the early stages. Therefore, the system had prepared a skill that could be used for defense. This skill was block. Block could be used by all classes, but because swordsmen were often in close combat, they used it the most frequently. Coupled with the fact that it was very difficult to use, the players called it the swordsman's divine skill. Under normal circumstances, if one wanted to block successfully, they had to enter the defensive stance when the other party's attack landed. Most people held their swords above their heads to block the attacks. However, because the monster's attack speed was extremely fast, in addition to the lack of pattern and the terrain problems, the success rate of blocking was very low. Even the top players did not dare to say that they could perfectly block all attacks. That was even more impossible for Lorne. His combat skills should only be considered average. Compared to those swordsmen who had been using their swords to fight, he was not skilled at all. However, how could a truly powerful player rely on pets alone? In Lorne's mind, a powerful expert should have the best combat skills. Even as a summoner, he could not waste his strength by doing nothing. Therefore, at this moment, he was very concerned about Aisha's combat skills. Especially every time she blocked the boss's attack, Aisha used her dagger to defend almost at the same time as the other party attacked. It was also because of her sharp combat awareness that she had a 100% chance of blocking the incoming attacks. Chapter 214, Boss Grade Material. -34,500, Critical. -33,790, Critical. -8,153. -8,247. -8193. -8365. While Lorne was lost in thought, Aisha had already forced the boss into a corner. She did not even have to wait for the skill to be refreshed. She only used her positioning and basic attack to reduce the health of this level 35 silver monster by 95%. Looking at the boss who only had 5% health left, Lorne had no intention of subduing it. It was not because of anything else, but simply because the difficulty of leveling up was too high. The EXP needed to level up a silver boss was about 50 times that of Lorne himself, half of that of Aisha. Just raising these pets was already very time-consuming. Lorne did not plan to increase the difficulty of leveling up. His current pet team already had the strength to defeat everything. There was no need to add such a pet. To Lorne, the next pet had to be a functional one, followed by one that dealt magic damage. In short, there was no need for this werewolf leader. Lorne did not fancy such an ordinary monster with ordinary strength and appearance. Of course, most importantly, Lorne needed the materials on the boss now. With this, it would be much easier to accumulate points. Aisha, kill it, Lorne ordered. Damn human and elf, I'm going to tear you apart. Roar. The werewolf leader felt the threat of death, so it had to make up its mind to use its final hidden skill, Blood Shadow Greedy Wolf. This was a skill that drained one's life in exchange for combat strength. After using this skill, this werewolf leader would definitely not be able to survive. However, it had no choice but to give up everything and choose to die with the enemy. Huge red energy emerged from its body, and even its body doubled in size. It was as if it had been injected with a balloon, and the muscles all over its body were swollen like a basketball. Ding! The demonized werewolf leader has activated its skill, Blood Shadow Greedy Wolf. It has temporarily entered the enhancement state. Enhancement: health points plus 10%, attack plus 50%, life leech plus 100%, movement speed plus 100%, duration, 30 seconds. The moment it activated the skill, the werewolf leader's strength was greatly increased. Even without the other two buffs, with only the effect of life leech plus 100% left, it could recover his health back to full in a few seconds. If ordinary players fought here, they would probably be instantly wiped out by this skill. Because the effect of life leech plus 100% was too useful in a group battle, it was enough to turn the entire situation around. Therefore, this was indeed a suicidal skill. Unfortunately, it was facing Aisha today. This level of increase in strength was not enough to change the situation. With its 50,000 health points, it could not even endure a wave of Aisha's skills. Lorne did not care how much its attributes had increased. It was no match for Aisha. However, at this moment, his eyes still lit up. Enhancement state. This effect interested Lorne. He wondered if a stronger synthesis material would drop if he killed the boss that had entered the enhancement state. It seemed possible. If that was the case, the monsters he created in the future might be bosses. The points gained from killing a boss would definitely be dozens of times that of ordinary monsters. In this case, wouldn't it be equivalent to dozens of times the income? As Lorne fantasized, Aisha had already ended the battle. Under her terrifying critical damage, the enhanced werewolf leader died under the dagger before it could display its strength. Boom! The boss fell to the ground unwillingly. Unfortunately, these were monsters in the event. They would not drop the loot. Ding! Congratulations on killing the silver boss demonized werewolf leader. You have received plus 19,600 points. 19,600? The number of points was beyond his expectations. If one compared the points produced by a silver monster, the number of points produced by this boss was 100 times that of the former. This was good news for Lorne. The more points the boss level monster gave, the more anticipation he had for the merging later. If he could create a boss, he would really make a killing. Perhaps the monster he created would produce more points than this boss. After all, after killing the synthesized monsters, the points would double. Wait. Why isn't there a silver boss first clear achievement? Only then did Lorne remember that he had not triggered the first clear of a silver boss, nor had he received any relevant rewards. This was not normal. This was the first silver boss he had encountered. There was no reason for it not to be the first kill. Could it be that someone was faster? This was not impossible. Previously, Lorne had gone offline a few times. It might have been when he was resting that someone had obtained the first clear of the silver boss. He did not dwell on this matter. His priority now was to obtain the materials he needed. Lorne stepped forward and placed his hand on the corpse. Ding! Congratulations on obtaining the material, demonized werewolf leader's bone. Congratulations on obtaining the material, demonized werewolf leader's tail. Congratulations on obtaining the material, demonized werewolf leader's fang. Congratulations on obtaining the material, demonized werewolf leader's sharp claw. Congratulations! Soon, Lorne obtained a pile of materials. To him, these materials were 100 times better than 20,000 points. With these materials, he could synthesize higher quality monsters and obtain more points. With that in mind, Lorne could not wait. Long-tongue bat, find a demonized beastman immediately. Yes, master. The long-tongue bat flew into the forest. Perhaps because the boss was moving around, there were no monsters nearby. After waiting for 3 minutes, the long-tongue bat brought back the information that Lorne needed. Soon, he found the demonized beastman. Next, it's time to witness a miracle. Lorne rubbed his hands. The synthesis this time involved the gains of tens of millions of points. He would be lying if he said he was not nervous. However, there was more anticipation in Lorne's heart. He had already had experience with success 2 days ago, so he would definitely succeed this time. Huff! Lorne took a deep breath, adjusted his emotions, and activated his talent. He first threw the demonized beastman into the formula, then threw in the materials he had just obtained. The next moment, a complete synthesis formula appeared. Chapter 215, Merging the Wolfhead Demon. Ding! A monster prototype and material have been identified. The synthesis formula is, demonized beastman, plus, demonized werewolf leader's muscle, plus. The cost of this synthesis is 10 gold coins. Would you like to merge? There was hope. The cost this time was actually 10 gold coins, which meant that the final product would be very powerful. After all, when he created Rimuru, it only cost 5 gold coins. Without hesitation, Lorne made up his mind. Then, a familiar scene appeared. The huge and ancient magic circle completely illuminated the monster and the material, then fused them together to become an even stronger monster. Ding! Merging successful. Congratulations on obtaining a quasi-boss monster, Wolfhead Demon. As soon as the voice fell, a powerful monster appeared in front of Lorne. It was covered in black bone spikes and looked hideous. The muscles on its body seemed to be made of molten iron. Compared to the ordinary demonized beastman, the monster was like a king with supreme power. Unfortunately, it could not compare to the werewolf leader. Strange, why is it only a quasi-boss monster? Lorne was confused. The result was unexpected. He had used the materials dropped by a silver boss, but the ordinary demonized beastman did not become a powerful silver boss. It had not even reached the quality of a true boss. Was it because the quality of the prototype monster was too low? It seemed possible. In the past, when he created Rimuru, the prototype monster was already at the boss level. After the synthesis, it evolved into a bronze-grade boss. It was the same for a little spider. Its prototype was a bronze-grade boss. Moreover, it had used 5 types of synthesis materials at the time, including the dragon's reverse scale. However, the final effect had only increased the quality by one level. From this analysis, the quality of the monster prototype affected the final product greatly. From this perspective, directly evolving into a quasi-boss monster seemed to be a very unexpected thing. After all, there was a huge difference between ordinary monsters and boss monsters. How many points can this monster generate? Without thinking, he let Aisha fight. From its interface, it could be seen that the strength of a quasi-boss monster was still very powerful, especially its health. It actually exceeded 100,000 points. Such attributes could defeat any player at this stage. Unfortunately, Aisha was not like them. Two daggers danced in her hands, and instantly, countless silver-white bolts enveloped the target monster. Pew! 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 Although the monster had a lot of health, it could not withstand such terrifying damage. In less than 10 seconds, the battle had ended. The powerful quasi-boss monster fell to the ground with a wail. Lorne walked up and placed his hand on the other party, then obtained a pile of synthesis materials. These materials could continue to create monsters of the same level. Of course, if the prototype monster was an ordinary beast, the final effect would be slightly weaker. After collecting the materials, Lorne opened the combat panel. Combat notification: congratulations on killing the quasi-boss wolfhead demon. Points plus 4410. There were actually 4,410 points. Lorne's eyes lit up. Although there was a huge difference between 4,410 and 19,600, it was still a very generous income. After all, killing a gold monster only gave 392 points. Now that it had increased by 10 times, how could it not be exciting? Ordinary beasts will produce fewer points. On average, a monster should be able to bring 3,000 points. According to the previous hunting efficiency, I will farm at least 1.5 million points per hour. Lorne was ecstatic. A million points was equivalent to a guild establishment token. A guild establishment token was equivalent to 10,000 gold coins. 10,000 gold coins was equivalent to 30 million alliance dollars. Didn't that mean that his current hourly salary had reached 30 million? Damn, this was too shocking. Even the richest man in the world would not have such an hourly salary. Thinking of this, Lorne laughed excitedly. It took him a few minutes to recover. Then, he shook his head and smiled. In fact, he knew very well that this so-called 30 million hourly salary was impossible. Perhaps there was hope for the first few hours, but when the number of guild establishment tokens exceeded 2 digits, such income would gradually dim. This was because the value of the guild establishment token would quickly decrease. Although it would not drop to worthless, it would definitely not be bought with tens of thousands of gold coins. While he was thinking, Lorne had already brought his pets to quickly find a new monster. Then, he used his monster merging simulator to repeat the scene. Ding! You have killed an armored demon ox. Points plus 2940. Ding! You have killed a wolfhead demon. Points plus 4410. Ding! Ding! In the dark forest, Lorne fought for nearly an hour. He killed hundreds of monsters, and the contribution points earned him exactly 1 million points. Lorne immediately exchanged for a guild establishment token and auctioned it in the shop. Because several guilds had already received the guild establishment token, these few days, it was the most popular time. If he missed these few days, after the other players also unlocked the points shop, the value of the guild establishment token would plummet. Lorne did not want to miss the opportunity to earn money. As he swept through the forest, he contacted Twinkle Rose. She was the leader of a large guild and the first to enter the Titan Forest. She should have long investigated the distribution of the monsters in the vicinity. After hearing Lorne's request, the big busted sister immediately sent him the map of the resource distribution. As for the price, it was a guild establishment token. Of course, this guild establishment token had to be bought with gold coins. After a friendly exchange between the two, the final price was 10,000 gold coins. This price was considered a normal price in the current period of time. Both sides did not lose out. Then, I want to go next. Lorne checked the markings on the map. Although the proportion of demonized beastmen was higher where he was, the overall number was not high. To other players, this was a good place. But to Lorne, this was not an ideal place. From the map, there was a valley near this forest. There were huge ordinary beasts there, and their levels were above level 30. Wasn't this what Lorne had dreamed of? With that in mind, Lorne immediately set off with his pets. Chapter 216, Crazy Auction. In the Titan Forest, there was a huge river, but because of the lack of water recently, the riverbed was exposed. At this moment, a large group of ordinary monsters were wandering here. Without hesitation, Lorne led his pets and began sweeping through the area. Ding! You have killed a rhinoceros demon. Points plus 2940. Ding! 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 Monster after monster fell, giving him a high number of points. Although the monsters here did not give him many points, the important thing was that there were many monsters. Without the interference of other players, he could kill them with high efficiency. In the previous forest, the average number of kills per hour was 300. If there were many monsters in the area, he could reach 500. Of course, that was a rare situation. Like in the valley, Lorne could easily keep his kills at 500. This was because they were all ordinary monsters and were easier to kill. Previously, he had used the demonized beastmen to merge them. The final monster had 100,000 health points. It would take Aisha 10 seconds to kill one. However, the attributes of the demonized monsters created by ordinary monsters were relatively poor. The average health was only about 60,000. With such health points, in the hands of Aisha, she only needed one combo attack to kill them. Therefore, Lorne could ensure that he had 1.5 million points per hour. His income had increased by 50%. Most importantly, he did not have to search for new areas. This valley penetrated the entire Titan forest and covered a huge area. It was impossible for him to sweep through all of them in the event alone. Ding! The Tool Guild establishment token that you're selling has been sold for 28,500 gold coins. The Tool Guild establishment token that you're selling has been sold for 25,000 gold coins. The Tool Guild establishment token that you're selling has been sold for 21,800 gold coins. The Tool Guild establishment token that you're selling has been sold for 18,300 gold coins. Every hour thereafter, Lorne received such a transaction. Although it had been a while since the transaction time of the first guild establishment token, in order to catch up to the progress of the other guilds, there were still people who were willing to spend a huge sum of money to buy it. As a result, Lorne made a killing. In just a few hours, he had earned more than 100,000 gold coins. And this number was still increasing crazily. By the time the day ended, he already had 415,000 gold coins on him. However, the final few guild establishment tokens made Lorne very helpless. The price of the founding gang really dropped quickly. Lorne shook his head and sighed. Because there were too many guild establishment tokens on the market, the subsequent transaction price was terrifyingly low. The price had fallen to about 10,000 since the 7th guild establishment token. When it reached the 10th piece, the price dropped to 6,000 gold coins. It continued to drop. It stopped at the height of 5,000 gold coins. There were about 10 guild establishment tokens that were sold for 5,000 gold coins. It was all thanks to Lorne setting the initial bid of the auction was 5,000 gold coins. Otherwise, the price would have been even lower. It should drop again tomorrow. Lorne knew that this price would not last. According to his estimation, he would sell at most 10 guild establishment tokens tomorrow, and the price would drop to less than 4,000. 4,000 gold coins was equivalent to 12 million alliance dollars. This price was nearly 20 times lower than the first 200 million. It was a crazy speed. According to Lorne's estimation yesterday, it would take at least 10,000 gold coins to barely avoid losses. The price of 4,000 gold coins could make him go bankrupt. Fortunately, the situation was different now. Even if it was 400 gold coins, Lorne still had money to earn. This was because he had created a monster now and could obtain 2,940 points. Even if he accumulated 1,000,000 points, he only needed 340 monsters. In total, it only cost 1,700 gold coins to create these monsters. Therefore, at his current position, he could still earn 3,300 gold coins on a guild establishment token. This was a very generous amount of income. Of course, the premise was that the price could not drop any more. Otherwise, his income in the next few days would definitely decrease. There are a total of 22 guild establishment tokens sold today. The total income is 225,000 gold coins. After deducting 45,000 gold coins, it's a net profit of 180,000 gold coins. The target tomorrow is 20 guild establishment tokens. The minimum price is 4,000. According to this base price, I can earn 40,000 gold coins in a day. Lorne calculated. Although the difference between 180,000 and 40,000 was huge, as a solo player, it was still worth celebrating to earn 40,000 gold coins per day. After all, this was still worth more than 100 million alliance dollars. As for the next few days, the price of the guild establishment token should still decrease. The lowest price Lorne would accept was 2,000 gold coins. Although this price was very low, what could he do? In any case, Lorne had to earn this money. This was because after the event ended, he could obtain the city creation token. At that time, he would have to start building the cold desolate dragon city. This was a true gold-devouring behemoth. Although there were hundreds of thousands of gold coins, when it was used, the speed of decrease was definitely faster than running water. Huff! Lorne exhaled. After looking at his gold coin savings, he went offline to rest. Such a high-intensity battle that lasted for more than 10 hours consumed a lot of his mental energy. Lorne did not force himself. He washed up and fell asleep. 7 hours later, Lorne woke up and logged into the game. He continued walking in the direction of the valley, using the same hunting method. After a day, Lorne gained a lot. However, the value of the guild establishment token still decreased significantly. In the end, he barely guarded the target price of 4,000 gold coins. As for the total income, it was basically getting worse by the day. Day 3 of the event, 23 guild establishment tokens sold. Sales total, 104,500 gold coins. The total income that day was 67,500 gold coins. Day 4 of the event, 21 guild establishment tokens sold. Sales total, 75,000 gold coins. The total income that day was 38,000 gold coins. Day 5 of the event, 22 guild establishment tokens sold. Sales total, 59,000 gold coins. The total income that day was 22,000 gold coins. Day 6 of the event, 24 guild establishment tokens sold. Sales total, 54,000 gold coins. The total income that day was 17,000 gold coins. In the next few days, the prices decreased non-stop from 3,000 to 2,900 to 2,800 gold coins. Fortunately, the price lingered around 3,000 for a long time. Otherwise, the income for the next 2 days would have decreased. Lorne did not care much. He would earn as much as he could. Even if he could earn 300 gold coins in an hour, it was a very generous income. He maintained his hunting efficiency and worked hard. In the past few days, many things had happened in the Titan Forest. Several top players from large guilds had unlocked the points shop one after another. Because they had bought the guild establishment token, their points were used to exchange for equipment. 1,000,000 points was equivalent to a platinum equipment. Therefore, their combined combat strength increased greatly, and their farming speed also increased significantly. But not long after, a new problem occurred. The number of demonized monsters was reaching its limit. Many players only barely killed 1 or 2 demonized beastmen in a few hours. This efficiency was at least 10 times lower than before. Chapter 217, The Swamp Under the Cliff. Brothers, does anyone know where the demonized monsters are? Requesting for the location of monsters. The demonized monsters of the Titan Forest have all been killed. I haven't seen a demonized monster in 3 hours. Please give me a strong demonized beastman. I suspect that all the monsters have been killed by Tyrant. On the forum, the players cursed crazily. Many people had not found their target monster for a long time. That was not surprising. After all, the Titan Forest was not very large. Not all monsters were demonized monsters. When faced with the joint effort of more than 10 million players, there would definitely be a lack of resources. Moreover, too many guilds were active in the event. As everyone knew, large guilds had a very detestable behavior, hoarding. When these guilds discovered an area with good resources, they would choose to classify this area as their exclusive area. If other players intruded, they would be chased away or even killed. Therefore, the solo players did not have many areas to farm now. At this moment, they looked at a glowing spot. It was the Dragon 1 shop that belonged to Tyrant. Most of the players could no longer find the monsters, but in Tyrant's shop, they were still selling the guild establishment tokens crazily. One had to know that a guild establishment token required 1,000,000 points to exchange. As for the guild establishment tokens auctioned by Tyrant, there were more than 20 pieces per day. It was equivalent to accumulating 20 million points per day. This is 2F***ing ridiculous. 20 guild establishment tokens a day? How did he do it? Tyrant must have killed all the monsters, leaving us no place to farm points. This evil tyrant! On the forum, the players cursed. Now, they all believed that it was Tyrant's overhunting that led to the event going dry after only reaching the 6th day. They had no place to farm points. After seeing these topics, Lorne could only shake his head. It really had nothing to do with him that these people could not kill the monsters. This was completely because there were too many players joining the event and due to the system restriction. This phenomenon also fully demonstrated the powerful use of the monster merging simulator in this event. When no one could find the demonized monsters, Lorne could use his cheat to harvest points crazily. This was too awesome. On the 7th day after the event began, Lorne continued farming in the valley. During this period of time, his points increased crazily. He earned 1.5 million points per hour. But at that moment, he encountered a special situation. The river valleys here were actually divided into 2 and extended in one direction. From where he stood, he could see that the riverbed had shrunk by half. The number of monsters gathered would probably be affected. Helpless, Lorne chose one of the directions. After traveling in this direction for a while, he realized that the number of monsters had decreased. At the end of the river ahead was a cliff. The river water would form a waterfall that fell dozens of meters below the mountain. Did any monsters exist at the bottom of the mountain? Lorne stepped forward to check the distribution of the monsters at the foot of the mountain. The next second, he was stunned. At the bottom of the mountain was a huge shallow swamp. There were countless giant teeth crocodiles gathered inside. They were all lying in the swamp, revealing their long, stone-like heads. As for the quantity, it was impossible to count. Unfortunately, this was not a suitable place to farm monsters. Because below the mountain was a swamp, if players walked on it, they would definitely fall into the swamp. Moreover, these giant tooth crocodiles were not easy to deal with. As level 38 monsters, they were opponents that were very difficult to defeat for the current players. However, Lorne's eyes lit up. He immediately came to a corner of the cliff and took out a pair of bracer from his bag. Spider silk bracer. Grade, silver. Attributes, none. Special effect, hanging, shoot out a spider thread and fix it at the target location. You can use the spider thread to hang in the air. Usage, 0/100. Level requirement, 30. Introduction. This equipment had dropped a long time ago. Because of Angel's wings, it had not been of use. Coupled with the fact that this equipment did not increase attributes, it naturally did not attract too much attention from Lorne. But now, it seemed that this equipment was simply made for this terrain. Lorne temporarily removed the gold bracer from his hand and activated the skill of the spider silk bracer. Swish! A spider thread shot out from the wrist guard and struck the rock beneath him. Lorne tugged and found that it was very durable, so he jumped. With the help of the spider silk, he finally hung about 10 meters in the air. The giant teeth crocodiles in the swamp also noticed the intruders. They jumped up from the swamp and opened their bloody mouths, wanting to eat Lorne. Unfortunately, their mobility was limited, so they could not reach Lorne. Little fellows, wait for me to merge you. The corners of Lorne's mouth curled up. He would not be in danger here, so he could modify the crocodiles with ease. However, before doing this, he still dealt with them using his pets. It was actually easy to kill these monsters. All he had to do was let small artillery stand on the cliff and deal damage remotely. However, this efficiency might be limited. After all, small artillery's damage output was far inferior to Aisha. Aisha, can you do anything here? Lorne asked the lovely elven princess. Yes. Aisha nodded earnestly. With that answer, Lorne summoned her. Lorne had wanted to ask what the elf was going to do, but she shook off his hand and jumped down into the swamp. Aisha leaped gracefully in the air, her exquisite boots gently touching the head of the crocodile, like a dragonfly flying across a lake. It was a beautiful sight. The crazy crocodiles could not harm her at all. Instead, they were attacked by her when she landed. Fortunately, Aisha did not use her skill, or the crocodiles would not have had a chance to accept Lorne's modification. /// After Lorne finished merging the monsters, the dagger in Aisha's hand fell, piercing through the monster's head. -25,100, critical. -23,700, critical. -5,445. -5,445. -5,445. Facing this group of level 38 giant teeth crocodiles, Aisha's damage was between 60,000 and 100,000 per wave of attacks. These monsters only had 90,000 health points. If they were unlucky, they might even be killed by Aisha's critical hits. These giant teeth crocodiles were really unlucky. Before they could enjoy the feeling of being powerful, they lost their lives and sank into the swamp. Chapter 218, Steadily at the top of the points ranking. Ding! You have killed a demonized giant teeth crocodile. Points plus 4250. Ding! 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 It could be seen that because of their high levels, the demonized giant teeth crocodiles brought Lorne 4,250 points. Although killing a monster would take longer, the increase in points alone gave Lorne a higher income. An hour later, all the giant teeth crocodiles in this area were killed. Since coming here, Lorne had killed a total of 400 giant teeth crocodiles and gained 1.85 million points. Coupled with the hundreds of thousands of points left on him, he could directly exchange for 2 guild establishment tokens. However, this time, Lorne was not in a hurry to use these points. He opened the leaderboard. First place, Tyrant, points. Second place, Thor, points, 1,663,000. Third place, Twinkle Rose, points, 1,561,000. Fourth place, Fire Beacon, points, 1,559,000. The leaderboard was ranked based on the remaining points, so the representatives of the guilds did not spend their points. Because the big busted sister had arrived early, she was now third. This was understandable. After all, she was a warrior. In such an event, she was at a disadvantage. Moreover, Thor and Fire Beacon were high-level hidden classes. Their combat strength was extraordinary. With the big busted sister's current strength, it was indeed very rare for her to stabilize the top 3. As for Lorne, he was in first place with a total of 2,160,000 points. However, he hid his points, so the other players could not see the accurate data. Only the MVP player can obtain the city creation token. It should be related to this leaderboard, right? Lorne did not know the system's calculation method for the time being, so he decided to keep all his points for today and try to win the title of MVP as steadily as possible. While he was thinking, Lorne climbed up the cliff along the spider silk. After killing all the monsters here, he had to go to another area to repeat his actions and harvest the giant teeth crocodiles in the swamp. 10 hours later. In this cliff, Lorne had already killed thousands of monsters, and he had more than 20 million points. With that, the first place spot on the leaderboard was completely stabilized. Even if the players of the large guilds had any hidden methods in the end, they could not be higher than him. Therefore, Lorne decided to use the points he obtained to exchange for the guild establishment tokens. Therefore, the auction began again. Gosh! Why does Tyrant have more guild establishment tokens? I'm f***ing dumbfounded. Isn't this too strange? Who knows? He might really be exploiting a bug in the game. Everyone, I want Tyrant's current coordinates in 3 minutes. I'll give you a minute to come and taste my knuckle sandwich. Seeing this scene, the group of players began to go crazy. Previously, Lorne's continuous auction of the guild establishment tokens had been questioned by them, but later, for some reason, there were no new goods in Dragon 1 for several hours, so they thought that Tyrant was also suffering from the pain of finding no monsters. Who knew that after 10 hours of silence, the Dragon 1 shop actually took out a new guild establishment token? This made people too jealous. Brother Tyrant, the Sisters of the Silver Snow Guild are feeling so empty. Can you help us? When she saw that the auction had begun again, Twinkle Rose immediately sent a message to Lorne. I can help you, but my body only allows me to fight 100 ladies alone. Lorne sent a meaningful reply. Tisk, you're too arrogant. Twinkle Rose smiled and continued, to be honest, Brother Tyrant, have you found a new monster area? What's wrong? Can you give us a small area? The ladies of the Silver Snow Guild haven't had any points for several hours. Twinkle Rose was helpless. In fact, she did not want to make such a request. After all, map resources were extremely rare at this time. However, she wanted to maintain her points ranking. Now, Twinkle Rose was third, but her points had not changed for a long time. The fourth place Fire Beacon was slowly increasing. If she did not find a new monster, her third place would soon be replaced by the other party. This was a scene that she did not want to see. It's not that I don't want to help you, but this place is not suitable for you. Even I have a hard time killing here. You'll die if you fight these monsters. Lorne tactfully rejected her request. After all, he was using the monster merging simulator as an exploit, and no one could replicate it. Alright, but I want to ask, Twinkle Rose sighed and asked curiously, what are your points on the leaderboard? Not much, just 20 million. Hearing this, Twinkle Rose fell silent. Indeed, humans could not compare to others. Although that guy was alone, his total points were even more than her entire guild. It was simply beyond reality. Another 10 hours passed. In the Titan Forest, an assassin player quickly found Great Greedy Wolf. Boss Greedy Wolf, our scouts have discovered Tyrant's location. They had been searching for Tyrant for the past few days, but for some reason, no matter how hard they searched the Titan Forest, there was no sign of him. Originally, Great Greedy Wolf was about to give up on this plan, but who knew that good news would come? "Where's that kid?" Great Greedy Wolf asked excitedly. In the dried river valley, our scouts saw that he had been lurking in that area. "I don't know what he was doing." Hearing this, Great Greedy Wolf's eyes widened. If Tyrant had been in that area, did that mean that was where he farmed points? Now, most players could not find the demonized monsters, and in order to compete for the ranking, the World Destruction Guild was searching for areas with demonized monsters. If he could obtain that place, wouldn't it be a great achievement? Has the scout player been exposed? Great Greedy Wolf quickly asked. "I don't think so." The assassin player said. He said that Tyrant's bat pet is flying around the forest. He did not dare to get too close. During this period of time, he has only been staring at Tyrant's location from afar. "Yes, well done." Great Greedy Wolf nodded, then excitedly pointed his sword in one direction, "Inform everyone to gather at the coordinates of the valley. I want to kill Tyrant today." "Yes, boss." Chapter 219, Grew Wings and Flew Away. In the valley, on the cliff. After using the spider silk bracer more than 20 times in this area, Lorne finally wiped out all the giant teeth crocodiles at the bottom of the cliff. If he wanted to continue hunting monsters, he had to go to the center of the swamp. It was a forbidden zone that the players could not enter for the time being. He put away the spider silk bracer and stood on the cliff to check his total harvest. He had gained a lot during this period of time. Although there were no other loot, he had obtained 1.8 million to 2 million points per hour. This was much more valuable than any other loot. After calculating everything, Lorne had hunted here for 20 hours. He had reserved all the points he had obtained in the first 10 hours. The gains for the next 10 hours were all used to buy the guild establishment tokens. A total of 19 were sold. Because of the market problem, these guild establishment tokens were all sold for 2,000 gold coins. After spending 1,700 gold coins, the net income was 5,700 gold coins. It was great. At this moment, the long-tongued bat suddenly flew back. There are a large number of enemies. Lorne frowned. He was not surprised, for the long-tongued bat had discovered other players around a long time ago. However, to his surprise, these guys dared to come and find trouble. Perhaps the number of people gave them confidence. After all, these guys had a total of 20,000 players. These mosquitoes buzz around me every day. I should find time to teach them a lesson. Lorne opened the map. There were dense red dots on it, completely covering the forest on both sides of the valley. These guys wanted to ambush him at the exit. After all, the bottom of the cliff was a swamp. In order to prevent him from jumping down and courting death, and to let the good equipment fall into the swamp, they did not rush to the edge of the cliff but chose to adventure in the forest on both sides of the valley. After all, that was the only way out and was more suitable for attacking the enemy. However, Lorne did not plan to attack this time. Killing these people was meaningless, and it was still within the event time. There were still 4 hours until the end of the event. With his hunting efficiency, it was very easy to accumulate another 4 million points. With that in mind, Lorne leaped into the swamp. Damn, why isn't Tyrant out yet? He discovered us. It's possible. He might have gone offline. I don't think so. He's been farming monsters nearby. He's probably still farming. Then we can't just wait here. Don't worry. Someone checked on the mountain nearby. Tyrant has basically wiped out all the monsters. In the forest, a group of well-equipped players was chatting. They were all members of a main army of the World Destruction Guild. There were a total of 20,000 of them, and there were hundreds of first-rate experts inside. With them leading the way, they were confident in killing even the number one player in the world, Lorne. Moreover, as long as the battle began, after Tyrant's red name appeared, killing him would result in a mythical equipment drop. Just thinking about it was exciting. "Boss, why don't we call the other legions?" A higher-up of the army asked beside Great Greedy Wolf. "There's no need. I've already contacted a few top experts. Coupled with the 20,000 troops of our army, when the time comes, even if Tyrant has wings, he can forget about flying out of our encirclement." The Great Greedy Wolf smiled confidently. In his plan, Tyrant would be surrounded by 20,000 players. Thousands of mages would attack from all directions, and more than 100 first-rate experts would attack accurately. Even if Tyrant was invisible, he would be detected by the illumination bullets in the sky. With such powerful firepower, there was no need to ask the others to help. As long as he took down Tyrant this time, he could use this contribution to obtain the good impression of young Master Spec. At that time, he would be promoted to a higher up in the company in reality and become a deputy guild leader below only one person in the game and above 100,000 subordinates. Thinking of this, Greedy Wolf beamed. However, just as he was feeling happy, an assassin player suddenly ran over to report. "Boss, bad news. That Tyrant seems to have discovered our ambush and flew away." Pfft! Great Greedy Wolf nearly spat out blood. He had just said that even if Tyrant grew wings, he could not escape from his encirclement. In the end, this kid really grew wings. Unable to restrain his anger, he waved his hand, and tens of thousands of people rushed to the edge of the cliff. But it was too late. Above the forest outside the swamp in the distance, a guy with white wings fell into the forest. Damn, this kid escaped. Great Greedy Wolf clearly did not realize the seriousness of the problem. He thought that the other party had fled because he was afraid of the strength of his army. "Boss, don't worry," a player beside him said, "although we did not capture Tyrant, we snatched his training ground. In the past 10 hours, that kid sold 19 guild establishment tokens. He probably farmed them here." "Here." Great Greedy Wolf glanced around and said, "These are all ordinary monsters. They won't produce points." "It's because they won't produce points, that's why it's important." The player said, "Boss, think about it. The monsters here are all ordinary monsters, and the terrain is so dangerous. How could Tyrant obtain so many points here? Thinking about the strange things involving Tyrant, I have every reason to suspect that this is where Tyrant is exploiting a bug." Hearing this explanation, Great Greedy Wolf nodded. This analysis was possible. If he could really find a way to recreate Tyrant's exploit, he might be able to help the top players of the guild obtain second place on the leaderboard. Very good. Immediately arrange for someone to explore according to Tyrant's method. Explore all the areas on the cliff. We cannot let go of any area. Yes, boss. Under the command of Great Greedy Wolf, countless players used ropes to climb the cliff, hoping to find the bug and obtain a generous reward from the guild. Unfortunately, there was no such thing as a bug or exploit here. On the contrary, the surviving giant teeth crocodiles attacked the players of the World Destruction Guild crazily. Therefore, everyone could see a group of players playing rock climbing at the edge of the cliff. Then, they were eaten by the crocodiles below. The scene was abnormally cruel and bloody. Half an hour later, Great Greedy Wolf left this nightmarish place with the remaining 15,000 members. Chapter 220, End of Event, City Creation Token in Hand. 4 hours later, Lorne stopped. The event was about to end. There was no need to find new monsters. He stood on the spot and checked the gold coins on him, finding that they had reached 5,652,000. This was a huge sum of money. If he sold it, he could earn at least 1.5 billion alliance dollars. Earning 1.5 billion in 7 days meant earning more than 200 million per day. This should be on the same level as a world-class corporation. But that was not all that Lorne wanted. Wealth in reality was no longer his goal, what he wanted now was wealth in the game. Lorne had made up his mind. From today onwards, he would build a truly powerful city that belonged to him alone. This way, no matter what happened in the future, he could successfully deal with it. As he was thinking, suddenly, a loud voice sounded in the sky. Ding! Iron Skull City announcement, congratulations! After the relentless efforts of the adventurers, the monsters in the Titan Forest have been cleared. This event has officially ended. Ding! Congratulations to players Tyrant, Thor, Fire Beacon, Twinkle Rose, and others for successfully reaching the top 10 of the leaderboard. They have received +1 luck and the corresponding rewards. Ding! Congratulations to player Tyrant for becoming the top MVP player with 135 million points. Additional rewards, luck +4, points +67.5 million, energy shield, orange skill book, X1, city creation token, legendary item, X1. Ding! In order to thank the adventurers for their help, Iron Skull City has specially reduced the price of all conventional potions in the main city by 20% for 24 hours. Ding! Ding! A series of notifications echoed for several minutes. All the players who belonged to Iron Skull City saw this announcement. When they saw the total points that Lorne had obtained, they were first stunned. Strange, are my eyes playing tricks on me? This number seems weird. Have I gone blind from masturbating too many times? Why are there so many zeros? Let me count seriously. 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, 100,000, million, 10 million, 100 million. The group of players thought that they were seeing things. However, after they counted it a few times, their eyes widened. Damn, damn, damn. 135 million points, is this something a player can possibly obtain? The second player only has 1.8 million points, but the number 1 player, Tyrant, actually has 135 million. There's a difference of 75 times. This result is f***ing illogical. Look at my own data, 1350 points. There's a difference of 100,000 times between Tyrant and me. I'm dumbfounded. God, Tyrant is awesome. When the system notification finished, another shout immediately sounded in Iron Skull City. Tyrant, congratulations on obtaining the glory of the MVP player and a large amount of rewards. However, as a solo player, you definitely don't have such a huge need for the city creation token. Therefore, my Blue-White Porcelain Guild is willing to pay 500 million Alliance dollars to buy your city creation token. It was from the guild leader of the Blue-White Porcelain Guild, Blue-White Porcelain. With that, the chat channel of Iron Skull City became lively. Previously, using 200 million to buy the guild establishment token was already very ridiculous, but now, they actually used an even higher price to buy the city creation token. That was 500 million Alliance dollars. It was real money. Even if ordinary people were given 100 lives, he would not be able to earn so much money. Of course, this was no longer tempting to Tyrant. After all, he had sold more than 100 guild establishment tokens in 7 days. Just as everyone was discussing, another shout sounded in the sky. Tyrant, if you want to sell the city creation token, our Fire Beacon Guild is willing to pay 800 million Alliance dollars to buy it directly and can satisfy some of your conditions in reality. Please consider it. It was from the guild leader of the Fire Beacon Guild, Fire Beacon. This player, who was known as the number 1 god of war in the game, also had a financial group with a huge background behind him. This was a top financial group in the world. If Tyrant needed to do something in reality, they would definitely be able to provide huge help. Seeing the price instantly rise to 800 million, the other onlookers also looked at it enviously. This time, not only was the game forum bombarded, but even the major news platforms in reality were crazily reporting this matter. Not long after, the World Alliance's official channel also temporarily broadcasted this event. To the World Alliance, today's matter was definitely the best publicity. No one could ignore such a crazy deal. Immediately after, another shout sounded throughout the city. Tyrant, our Divine Mage Guild is willing to pay $1 billion Alliance dollars to buy it directly, and we can satisfy all your requests in reality. It was from the guild leader of the Divine Mage Guild, Thor. As soon as he said this, the players watching the live stream all over the world became excited. In just a few seconds, the price had increased to 1 billion. This was ridiculous. However, before the voice could stop, new shouts echoed in the air. Tyrant, you had some conflict with our Domination Guild previously, but you also snatched a big boss from us, which can be considered as cancelling out the grudge. However, in view of our guild's impoliteness towards you, I'm deeply sorry. In order to build our previous friendship, I can give you some gifts to apologize. If there's anything you want, you can ask. I, Unparalleled Domination, will definitely not refuse. Finally, Brother Tyrant, if you want to sell the city creation token, I'm willing to pay 1.1 billion. As long as it's within my ability, I can agree to any other request in reality. Brother, if you think about it carefully, please contact me. I can't add you as a friend. It was from the guild leader of the Domination Guild, Unparalleled Domination. Boom. This time, the players were excited again. Who did not know the grudge between Unparalleled Domination and Tyrant? At this time, the entire Earth knew about it. However, today, Unparalleled Domination actually took the initiative to apologize for the sake of the city creation token. He even spoke humbly and asked for the other party's forgiveness. To be honest, this subverted the players' worldview, because in their eyes, Unparalleled Domination was a world-renowned bandit. As long as one conflicted with his guild, they would suffer extremely fatal revenge. Moreover, this guy's encirclement behavior was the most severe. He basically did whatever he want. He was a complete scoundrel. How could such a person apologize?